Hello all, welcome to the third video project formulation and appraisal, and our third video is again on feasibility and evaluation and appraisal. So what we'll cover in this is financial feasibility, source of finance, profitability, cash flow, economic feasibility more or less, and then evaluation. So I, Dr. Satish Kumar Mittal, Senior Faculty with Gautam Buddha University, welcomes you all to this third video, that is the last video on project issues. So let's recap, quickly cover what we covered previously, briefly discuss, and that we covered, started with project idea, then project formulation, then report designing, then we started with feasibility. In previous video, we covered technical feasibility, which covered technical, operational, input level, risk feasibility. And then market feasibility covered market and marketing feasibility. And again, briefly, if we talk about what is feasibility, if we recall, feasibility is analysis of the problem in advance to find out whether our project will be viable, suitable, and will run in the market successfully. What is the possibility? That studying is feasibility study. So estimating in advance that whether we will be able to deliver our project or not is feasibility study. It is on various aspects, as we discussed in previous slide, technical and market aspect, and in this slide or in this video we will discuss financial feasibility, various dimensions of financial feasibility. Yes, of course, we will discuss in detail. Then economic feasibility, and then appraisal, evaluation of the project. Is again the results of the project will be determined, and that we covered previously, so need not to cover here. I just try to show you what we covered previously. Let's start with financial feasibility. What is financial feasibility? It includes the cost aspect, that what will be the cost of our project. For different activities we can segregate the cost. Then what will be the source of finance to cover that cost, to meet that cost. And then what will be the estimated revenues, then finding the gap between cost and revenue, that will be profit. What will the profitability estimates, expected profit, what will be the cash flow, because we know profit is very vague term, so we need to estimate the cash flow also. Things works on liquidity, that is cash. And then financial positions and flows of the project will be estimated and their feasibility will be tested. So starting with project cost determination, as we discussed in cost in our previous units about direct cost, indirect cost, variable cost, fixed cost, semi-variable cost, activity-based costs. Then we try to sunk cost, opportunity cost. We try to identify various types of cost which will be involved, which will be helpful here in evaluating our project based on cost, that which type of cost are there. And the main objective is to find whether there is overrun of the cost, which is very important. If we estimate cost will be 10 lakh, in the project actually it goes to 20 lakh, it will be trouble, and the post project will be in deep trouble. And recently, if I correctly recall, Nitin Gadkari, our road and transport minister, highlighted, and it said, he said that NHAI itself took 10 years to construct a building which need to deliver project on time, and it increased the cost of the project double and triple sometime. And he really felt bad that the project cost overrun is a big issue in the success or viability of a project. That is important. So this will again lead to time overrun. If cost overrun, then we need to give estimates and budgets again to the authorities to approve, and it will take time, and then there will be extra time that will be taken to complete the project, and this will increase the probability of or the possibility of project failure, project funds outflow or inflow problem mismatch may arise. So let's discuss various essentials elements of project cost. Quickly, let's cover those. Land and site development, very important in case of hotels, in case of destination development. Building and civil works, plant machinery, in case of capital assets are required. For travel agency or tour operators, they need motor vehicles. For hotels, they need building, they need kitchen equipments, they need hotel rooms equipments, they need furniture, they are the technical know-how. Nowadays everything works on softwares, So technical know-how is very important. Preliminary and capital issue expenditures. Let me explain it quickly. What is preliminary and capital issue expenditure? Preliminary means the expenditure that happens before initiating a project, and that happens in feasibility study. Project is not yet started. Feasibility study cost is preliminary expenditure. Capital issue expenditures, raising capital itself have a cost. Even if you raise from owners, maybe through share capital, then issue cost is there. We need to hire bank to facilitate the issue. We need to make some expenditure with the stock market so that shares are listed. And even if we take loan from banks, then bank charge something. So that is capital issue, raising fund related expenditure. Provisions for contingencies. Future is uncertain, we all know. We don't know what happens in future, so we need to have some cushion, some grace for funds. So if we estimate the cost is 90, at least 10% should be the contingency, and then the total cost estimation should be 100, so that if some uncertainty happens in future, that can be covered. Working capital requirement, day-to-day expenditure requirement is very important. And see, working capital, many projects failed because of liquidity. Long-term funds everybody have and they arrange, but day-to-day expenditure is very important. And if we spoil our image in day-to-day expenditure, you take a tour, you need liquidity there to spend on tourists. You can't ask every time tourists give this money, they give this money for maybe sightseeing. That spoil our image every time behind the tourist to give money. So we need to have liquidity with our business firm. So next issue, important issue, is source of finance. What are various sources of finance? We'll spend quickly 2-3 minutes or some time on explaining various sources of finance. Previously, there used to be very less sources. Of finance. People used to depend on their own funds and then borrowed funds. That is debt, that we call it loan. That's it. Or maybe to the max extent, then we government grants. But nowadays there are so many funding options are available, like crowdfunding. This is a new concept. Like social fundings, we raise funds through small units from the society. Lease finance, need not to buy long assets, we can take them on lease. And nowadays even ACs, electrical equipments are taken on lease. So bank give loans on inventory, bank gives loan on term loan, demand loan, fixed time period loans, public deposits, debts. Debentures are normally secured. Very famous terminology, companies issue debentures. And debts means loan. You can take loan for any type of firm. Then capital subsidies or development funds are sought from government or different financing agencies. Foreign investments are there. Foreign investment comes under two categories: foreign portfolio investment and foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is when long-term funds, or green investment it is also called, is coming from foreign investor for a new project. That is foreign direct investment. And for existing projects, if some old shares are traded or funds funded, then that is portfolio investment. Normally it is considered FDI is better than FPI. The next issue is profitability estimates. We need to estimate our profits based on the revenues estimation. Let's discuss this. Financial feasibility is very important, and profitability estimate is very important for financial feasibility. That is estimating about sales and cost we discussed previously. In case of sales, revenues, other revenues, non-business related revenues are also coming in the business. Maybe sometime we give consultancy, maybe sometime extra money is invested in share bazaar, maybe extra money is invested in real estate, and then we are getting some return, and that is other revenue. So sales plus non-operating revenues that you might have discussed, operating and non-operating revenue under balance sheet or profit and loss account or income statement. And the difference between revenue and cost is profit. Next is cash flow estimates. Cash flow estimates, and even government and all experts accept that profit is very vague term. Many people call revenue as profit, many people call cost minus revenue minus cost as profit. Many people call net profit as profit. Many people call residual income as profit. So cash flow is very important, and it explains very clearly that to what extent project is successful. So cash flow estimates for projects, physical movement of cash in and out of the firm is important to be discussed. Profitability estimate concerned about cash flow. So cash flow estimates based on three parameters: operating cash flow, financing cash flow, investment cash flow. Operating cash flow is related to your revenues cash flow. Financing cash flow is related to our long-term funds cash flow. And investment cash flow is related to our assets cash flow. If we purchase assets, then cash flow is going, so it is called outflow of cash. If we sell assets, old assets are sold many times, old unit of the project is sold many times, so that is cash inflow. And then third one is cash estimate, deal with liquidity and clarity on profitability of the firm as well as the project. Next aspect is financial positions and flows. Let's discuss those. Financial positions: what are the stock of assets, what are the stock of liabilities, then assets minus liability left out is for owners, and what is the surplus that we have generated. These all are based on investment cost estimates, operating cost estimates, benefit estimates, cost benefit comparison, project selection decision. They all depends on this. Economic analysis is equally important, and economic appraisal is equally important to financial appraisal or technical appraisal. If our project, the project that you are initiating, is not economically contributing, what are economic parameters? That let's discuss those. Economic parameters includes GDP. Economic parameter includes if we are able to generate employment in that from that project, then government may support that project. If we are able to educate or uplift the quality of life of the local people, that is economic impact. If you are adding in per capita income of the local people or to the government, that is economic upliftment. If you are adding more to the revenues of the government in the form of taxes collections because of your project, that is economic aspect. And feasibility need to be studied, what this project can contribute to the government, to the society, on the parameters of economic as well as non-economic aspects. So economic analysis estimate and analyze the project's net contribution to the whole economy of the region, and it helps determine whether the project increase the net wealth of a region or a country as a whole or not. Estimation of economic cost of project, economic benefits, and there is a terminology SCBA, social cost benefit analysis. And in economics there is one more terminology, that is economic profit analysis. So under economic analysis we cover all these dimensions. Very famous technique under economic analysis is ENPV, economic net present value. Four words are there: economic aspect I discussed, economic net is revenue minus cost, present value talks about, profits will come in future from this project. The value of rupee at present and the value of rupee after 1 year will change, and this change matters, and that is inflation, risk, these factors. So if we discount the revenues with the inflation or with this to calculate present value, that is more important. So because 100 rupees today's revenue cost and next year's 100 rupees revenue will not match. Next year we will expect 110, and this extra 10 is for inflation, and that need to be discounted with 10% discount rate. So ENVP, economic net present value, should be greater than 0, otherwise there is a loss. And for a project feasibility, economic feasibility, we should study that ENVP should be greater than 0 if we want to accept the project. And discount rate, sometime called cost of capital, sometime called inflation rate plus risk, accept the project. And if this discount rate is more, then the ENVP, there will be pressure on ENVP, there will be pressure on revenues, and it may imbalance, because inflation if increase, then it ruins the economy, and that is discussed several times in newspapers also. So if economic benefit is more than cost, only then project is accepted, and for that formula is economic benefit divided by cost. If this ratio is greater than 1, accept the project. If this ratio is less than 1, reject the project. If this ratio is less than 1, this means economic benefits are less than economic cost based on present value. So feasibility, appointment of an expert, this we discussed, plans, scheduling. Let's discuss financial feasibility directly. So completing the feasibility study, well, we complete all the feasibility, technical, financial and all aspects of feasibility study will be complete, and then the end product of feasibility study should therefore comprise a clear, concise report calling feasibility study report, giving direction whether the project will be initiated, should be initiated or not. Next important issue is appraisal. Appraisal of the project, evaluating the project. Well, it involves critical examining the basic data, assumptions, methodology used in project preparation to assure project's viability, profitability and sustainability. The appraisals projects, there are various techniques for technical appraisal, for financial appraisal. So in appraisal, project's promoter takes a second look critically and carefully to assure project's profitability. Project is evaluated to check if all the aspects of the project are consistent with the requirement. Is it fit with the policy, strategy of the organization and firm and industry? Project risk and sensitivity analysis are also carried out in appraisal to check whether it is within their risk profile. So all the parameters which we covered under feasibility will be covered under appraisal also, based on the techniques. So aspects covered will be, projects are examined from the marketing perspective, from financial perspective, from economic perspective, institutional perspective, organizational level perspective, industry level perspective, managerial level perspective, environmental, social and various other point of views. Questions are raised on the assumptions. Why this assumption is taken? For example, why you take there will be an increase of 10% tourists next year? Why 10%? Why not 20%? Why not 5%? Why not minus 10%? So all these assumptions need to be tested. Study can be supplemented with further studies if required, being for a big project these are generally required. Finally, judgment is made if the project is worthy to be undertaken or not. So project appraisal include market aspect. Market appraisal reviews the project's demand, number of local beneficiaries, price of service or product, distribution mechanism, future market growth to ensure it will generate profits or it will able to recover cost. The techniques covered used for it are study of industry, business life cycle. In industry business life cycle, where the industries this particular business stands at maturities. Likewise, you know there are 4 phases in business life cycle. Initial phase, growth is high, risk is more, technology is less, customer is less, but a sharp increase, then acclivity, then maturity, then decline. So if the industry is in declining phase, then there is a huge risk to initiate the project. If industry is in initial phase, then there is a more probability or possibility of success of the project. So business life cycle or industry life cycle need to be studied. SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats to the project or to the product or service that will be initiated, that will be developed, that will be produced from this project. Likewise, adventure tourism, many times there is a risk of life, so that is the threat. Or there are various other market forecasting and other techniques also. So evaluating market segments includes segment size, growth. Segment means categorization, specific need of the segment, their paying capacity. If we segment the tourist based on their age, then we can say senior citizens, we can say adults who are earning well also, but they don't have time, senior citizen having income, having time, but may not be their physical health allow. Then a young generation, they have time, but they don't have income, they need to come, impress their family to initiate a tourist destination, go for destination. So age, income, various income category people choose different destinations, different tourism products or services, and we can identify accordingly. Their paying capacity can be considered to cost, to price the project, to price the service. In case of profit motive project, which particularly segment is attractive, we need to identify. If there is less entry barriers, then there can be more competitors, and even our entry is also easy. substitute limits. If the project can be easily, our service can be easily substituted by some other service, then there is a threat that in near future, maybe our product or service is replaced by some other product or service. So many, HMT watch. Now watch is replaced by mobile phone or smartwatch. Then there used to be one very famous Kodak company which used to have Kodak reels, very famous, now no more existence. So substitute limits, price reduction pressure, these can be and attractive segments can be really concerns to evaluate in the market. Company objectives and resources also need to be considered under market consideration also. Technical appraisal, every project must be technically feasible. If technically feasible in short run as well as in long run, and based on input factors, that is important. Which includes, broadly involves a technical review of the following: choice of technological process and technology proven or tested. Does the technology process really fit with the facility of existing with the firm? Equipment capacity, whether it is as per the requirement. List of recommended equipment suppliers. Investment cost, how much will it cost to replace the technology? See, existing technology cost may be less, but what is the replacement cost of the technology? That is important. If replacement cost is more, then entrepreneur hesitate in replacing the existing technology. Likewise, in case of nowadays solar energy, through solar energy electricity is created, but existing system of hydro power energy generation for electricity creation, replacement cost is high. That's why government is giving grants. In case of motor vehicles, electric motor vehicles are coming in the market, which are replacing petrol and diesel cars or motor vehicles, but the replacement cost is high. That's why people are hesitating. And there comes the role of the government. They give some discounts, they give subsidies, they give some incentives in tax to the corporates. Likewise, creating hotel or establishing hotels or motels in rural area give tax incentives, and maybe rural tourism is also promoted. So plant layout, building, availability of various inputs, sites, other factors, network analysis for assessing the project's implementation schedule, etc. are various aspects of technical analysis. Next is financial appraisal. Financial appraisal includes considerably with the nature of project, whether it is revenue producing or not. Financial appraisal covers analysis of investment cost through capital busting. Capital busting means what is the cost and what will be the forecasted revenues, and matching those cost and revenues based on present value, and there are several techniques for it. Likewise, payback period. How many years or how much time period it will take to recover the cost invested in the project. That is payback period. Then payback period based on time, present value, that will be NPV, net present value. Net present value, if we discount the revenues which will come in future to match with the current cash investment, and if our revenues are more, then NPV is more than zero and that project is financially viable, and this is a very good technique. Very famous technique, one more technique of capital busting is IRR, internal rate of return. What will be the more return if we reinvest, plow back our profits in the business, and more the IRR, more the guarantee to some extent to make the project financially viable. Then cost appraisal include break-even point and cost volume profit analysis. This we discussed in detail in our previous videos when we talked about cost issues. Under break-even point we talk about fixed cost, variable cost. Under cost volume profit analysis we talk about contribution, that is revenue minus variable cost is contribution divided by fixed cost will tell us what will be the cost volume profit analysis. Then pricing, financing, income and expenditure, liquidity plan through WCM, very famous terminology called working capital management. And working capital can be analyzed through liquidity ratios, which are current ratio, quick ratios. The more current ratio ensures that there is more liquidity with the firm. More liquidity means more funds with the firm. More funds with the firm will help firm to initiate more projects, to produce more goods and services, to ensure more profitability with the firm. If the funds are lying idle with the firm, it will create pressure on the firm. Selection of discount rate, as I told you, is about to consider inflation. Inflation means price increase in future plus risk increase. These two things will create the discount rate. Ratio analysis, there are various ratio analysis techniques are there, like profitability ratio, net profit ratio, gross profit ratio, operating profit ratio. These ratios you discussed comfortably, and you can go back to those videos of financial statement analysis. Then operating ratios are there, then efficiency ratios are there, debt turnover ratio, creditor turnover ratio, stock turnover ratio, liquidity turnover ratio, fixed asset turnover ratio, total assets turnover ratio. More these ratios ensures more efficiency with the firm. Then there are some standard other ratios also, like break even, price earning ratios, and etc. Next is managerial aspect. If the management is incompetent, even a good project may fail. If management is over ambitious, unskilled, less motivated, is not foresighted, is not having leadership skills, then the project fails. And there are n number of examples of such projects. So financial institutions, donors very carefully appraise the managerial aspect before sanctioning an assistance for a project. There are n number of examples. Tata's started business with no capital. They did not have funds. So when many people we find to talk about that we don't have fund, otherwise we could start a travel agency, tour operators, or a hotel, or a motel, or a resort, or some sports activity, we don't believe this. If you have a good idea, prepare a good project report, and there can be a number of people available in the market who can finance your project. Background of the promoters is very important. Many times promoters do not have goodwill. Many times promoters gives you funds initially, but later on they create problem. Many times funds are given by the promoters not with a good intention, especially in case of foreign promoters, especially in case of from where the funding is coming. Nowadays funding coming from some terrorist groups. This creates a problem, especially in Kashmir, and that's why tourism is adversely affecting in Jammu and Kashmir and many states, northeast states. Naxalites are financing the projects, and later on they withdraw their funds, they create problem, and it is a threat for social security also. Their academic qualification, their experience, their past performance of the promoters, and the managerial skills or the manager's aspects, assessment of other specific skills required, presentation skills. Many people are very much intelligent. Likewise for tour guides, presentation skill is very important. Training arrangement, maybe sometime skills enhanced with trainings. Next is economic appraisal. Economic appraisal examines the project's contribution to the economy in the form of income, in the form of tax contribution, in the form of employment, in the form of maybe technology know-how bringing. Likewise, Maruti Suzuki had a joint venture to bring technology to our country. So these are the economic aspects. It assesses whether the project increased the net wealth of the region. A purely financial analysis normally does not provide an adequate base for judging a project. Economic aspect is very important, which bothers about society, stakeholders, various stakeholders, society, economy, governments, local people, foreign impact on foreign, maybe nearby countries. Since the financial analysis looks at the projects only from a limited viewpoint, that's why economic appraisal is very important. So economic appraisal looks at the projects from the viewpoint of whole economy, asking whether the project shows benefit sufficiently greater than the project cost to justify investment in it. Some concerns of economic appraisal: increased output, demand-based output supply so that demand can be met and price inflation can be controlled to some extent. Enhanced services, increased in employment like I discussed 1 minute back. Larger government revenues in the form of taxes, higher standard of living of the local people or of the society or of the stakeholders or of the management, employees, customers, increased income distribution. If income distribution is balanced through your project, then government may support by giving grants. So economic appraisal include all these factors, and this is very important. Likewise, social aspect is also there, and risk analysis. Project operate in an environment composed of uncertainty, because future is uncertain, and nowadays uncertainty increased because of technological failure, because of advancement of in the technology, because of the expectations, because the stress level, and so many factors are contributing. Uncertainty regarding funds, necessary input factors, potential technical problem, political disturbances there in many countries. Project examiner need to examine all these things. So all the risks are identified and analyzed, and sometimes risk mitigation strategies are proposed and used. And if they are possible, likewise for input factor cost, derivatives are used. Risk monitoring and control plan are also prepared. So in crux, we can say that project formulation and appraisal include what is project, how it is initiated. This is a unique activity, a set of activities in a unique way it is to be done with a specific team in a specific time frame. And before initiating a project, we need to study the feasibility report, whether it is feasible to initiate this project, then various level of feasibility, and then analyze and appraise whether cross-checking whether this project will be successful, because failure costs a lot. Normally it is said that failure is good master, but it is expensive one. If you fail in project, not only demotivate, it wastes our resources, funds, confidence, trust of various stakeholders. So friends, I believe we could spend good time in learning peculiar nature of projects and how it is initiated, how a feasibility study is done. Thank you very much for joining. I hope we enjoyed. Thank you.